And hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ohana Hobby Workshop. Today we, as in I do have a guest that I'll introduce in a minute, but we're going to be going over the stuff from the Warhammer Fest. So all the reveals and everything, opinions. And today I am joined by a good friend, Rob. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
Right, let's start this off then. So, first of all, we're going to be looking at. I've got it all in order, so we'll be doing 40k followed by 40k followed by Age of Sigmar, followed by any other game system they do, followed by Heresy. So we're going to start looking at the Chaos stuff to begin with, because I'm pretty sure that was all that was really revealed was the Chaos stuff, apart from some other stuff that I don't like.
Chaos and then the books, yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, we now have the new Possessed. I'm not going to play the trailers because of copyright shit. I think we're in a minute in the video. Yeah, it's fine. I can swear.
Yeah. I keep looking at the possessed, going, which god is which?
Well, the thing that you've got to realise with the Possessed, even states in the article, they're the same size as Gravis Armor Marines. So they're now like Terminator, just a bit bigger than Terminator sizes now.
And yet they're in what? They're in Space Marine armor and now gotten bigger.
Yeah, they've basically just injected them with steroids.
Yeah.
But no, they are doing quite nice, but from a kit bash perspective, yeah. For an example, the one that I'm currently showing, so it's the first one you see on the slideshow with the backpack with the skull on it. That's actually a old backpack that got brought out from, if I remember rightly, about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years, from the Shadow Spear box. That was when the Chaos Space Marines and the Phobos was first introduced. You could kit bash these very easily because of specific kits. Some of them are a bit more awkward, such as the one with the bone coming out of the right-hand side with the dead marine on the body. That one would be a bit more hoo-ha-y. But they are nice, regardless.
They're a nice refresher to the possessed,
Yeah.
though, because they've been needing an update for a long time.
I would 100% say that. And it's good that they've actually... I'm not sure if they've still kept, to some extent, the like original Possessed sort of shape in that. So with that, I will have to just quickly look that up.
Oh, with them being bigger, I'm assuming they're going to be on a bigger base size, which is going to be intriguing.
40mm bases.
So they're definitely going to be bigger than the original Possessed.
So the original Possessed are on 32s, yes.
I know for a fact there was one Possessed guy that came with the box of cultists that always went on a 25, and that was the weirdest one to me.
So at the minute, Possessed are they are £26 for 5 dudes, 32 mils. Comparing them to the new ones, they are completely different. So for once, well done. You actually brought some imagination to the bloody table games workshop and not copied and paste shit, from what I can see. Well done. You get a gold star today for this.
Let's see if they'll get removed, though.
Yeah. We'll see if it gets removed. So far, you're on a gold star. Probably going to lose it. Give it by in the next 10 minutes. So the Possessed at the minute at £26 for 5 guys. With the new ones, you're probably... Because they have announced they are Gravis armor size. A set of Gravis armor guys go for quite a bit now, don't they? If they're like 40 quid, something like that.
40. I don't normally keep up to date with prices as an Imperial Guard player.
Okay, so Gravis armor are the heavy intercessors, if I remember rightly. We can use them as like a base point. But yeah, so we'll compare, like we'll give a rough price sort of estimate as well, and I'll make notes as well as we go through, so then we can put them into the descriptions and all that shenanigans. So we've got Chaos Possessed. So at the current minute, they are £26, and they're on 32 mils, 5-man guys. If you look at them, they're not that great. Obviously, classics will always be classics. There's nothing Games Workshop can do about that. The classics are just the nice ones. But with these new ones, there is a lot more going on with them. They're not too busy either, I don't think. I'm not sure about how you feel about them.
Some of them I do see more difficulty if you're somewhat of a beginner painter, because I'm not gonna lie, even a few years into my Warhammer career of enjoying painting and stuff like that, I still hate painting flesh, and that is a lot of flesh.
Yeah, and I think that might be the drawback. Unless you can do away, so I believe it's number 5. Yes, number 5 doesn't have much flesh compared to the other 4. Well, number 3 has a little bit.
You've also got to look at the one that's got the insect arm, insectoid, Nurgle-ish type thing.
So the second one on the slideshow is going to be... I think that's probably the most complicated. I think if we're taking it from a painter's aspect, I would recommend beginners don't do these ones. From a 19 years in the hobby experience, I would not recommend beginners sort of like buying this straight away and doing it. Because there is challenges here, such as skin, bone. Metallics are pretty straightforward, let's be real. Armor and trim, pretty simple. Fabric, simple. But more the skin aspect and bone aspect, I think, for them.
One of the biggest things I think GW is doing at the moment is making them... Yes, they look nice. Yes, they look fantastic. But...
Wouldn't go that far.
Okay, yeah... But I'm more in the Warhammer than you-ish, mainly. But I'm looking at this going, I still don't know how to paint horns to, like, roughly that design. I stick it to a monochrome colour, wash it, highlight it, done.
So
I stick to bare minimum.
So if we were go by Possess then, from an overall sort of thing, I would... If we say, like, model design-wise, if we compare it to the old ones... like and everything
it's
to
an
everything.
Improvement.
I would say it's an improvement. So out of like a score of 5, I think 4, like the way they look compared to the old ones, I would give them probably a 4 out of 5. But,
I agree.
Busyness, they're not too busy, so I'd give them a 4. But
yeah.
I would say for technical, so if we're looking at new people to get in to the hobby who want to start painting these, I wouldn't say not to, but I would say just be extremely cautious.
It's a nice challenge.
It's definitely a challenge, but I would say for new painters, approach with caution, just in case, and like expect to make mistakes, sort of thing. Just be very cautious of it because there is a lot of skin. There's a lot more detail compared to regular Space Marines and so on and so forth.
Well, yeah, if you re-look at some of them, you've got multiple ones with different skin tones, with the claws pink, skins completely white, and all the different shades. It's going to be a challenge, but again, most people, if you're up for the challenge, it's there.
Yeah, and I think that falls down to the thing is, in this hobby, like pushing yourself, essentially. But right, let's move on to the next section. So the next section...
The cultists.
The cultists. That are, I'm going to tell you right now, people, are not new bloody sculpts.
Explain that one.
So, here's the catch. So, Age of Sigmar have a specific models for the corn guys. I need to load them up. I should have done this previously, but I didn't. Because who cares? So, they have specific models. And if you look very carefully and compare the two, there has been no imagination whatsoever gone into them.
In all honesty, I looked at them and went, some of these look very Warcry-ish.
They're not Warcry.
Given different clothes.
So what they've actually done is they've removed some iconic Khorne armor to make him generic. And then they've added a few more bits of cloth. And then all they've done is swap the weapons for the knives, and even then, some of the knife designs are the exact same knife designs from the kit they took the basic from, and all they've done is remove trim and put a pistol on it. And do you want to guess which models they are?
I wouldn't be able to guess from Age of Sigmar Chaos.
I give you a clue. I own about 60 of them, if not 100.
Go on, because I can't.
Blood
think off the top of my head.
Reavers.
Oh, bloody hell!
If you look at them carefully, they are pretty much an identical match, excluding a few head swaps. And
actually, now you say about it,
now you can see it.
Yeah, because I'm remembering back to the Underworld stuff, the original box set where they did Reavers vs Stormcast, and I pretty much see it here.
Yeah, so what we're looking at, people, is basically just copy and paste. And that gold star has been dropped to a silver. Because
I'm sorry. Out of all of them, the only reason why I would ever pick up this box set is the baseball bat with nails. Like, that is the only imaginative weapon there, other than the prosthetic claw arm, that I actually enjoy.
Yeah. So, funny enough, the prosthetic claw is not even a new thing. It is an old thing. Because it is actually taken from the servitors from Space Marines. Weapon ones, to be more exact.
That makes sense.
So, yes, technically, people will be out there going, oh, it's just a new kit, just stop trying to pin it down and finalise it. Well, no, it's not a new kit. They've copied and pasted from previous kits, and let's face it, there has been no imagination put into it, because you can identify and literally tear the model apart. I could go in my bits box right now and make 100 of these.
Yeah.
The only difference is they're on 32 mils instead of 25s.
Again, I would say, yes, no imagination, but the only imagination there with the weapons is one thing, maybe two. Once we actually get the proper box set and see what we could do, I would happily be able to go over it again.
Yeah, I think that's something we're going to need to sort of do. So, because obviously there is a lot to cover. With these cultists, though, I would say imagination 1.
0.
I will give them a 1. I'll give them a
1 for the baseball bat. That is it.
Well, I would give them 1 because they have deducted trim from the Blood Reavers, and it makes it less because I hate personally paint and trim. It deserves to not be a thing. I can't stand it. So, but I would say creativity, I'm going to give it a 1. I will say as well, these are a brilliant way to practice skin tones. I would say it's definitely, if you want to practice skin tones, these are your perfect models. They're not going to be too bad. They're not going to be too expensive, in theory. So I think the standard cultist box is about £20. I want to say 20, 25, but I've not seen a box of cultists in a long time. As far as I know, they don't even sell them anymore. They might do, they might not.
Again, I don't. Even when I go down to the Warhammer store, normally I'm not paying attention to that.
So they're not even on show anymore. So you can't even buy them anymore.
Next one then.
So I would probably say a recommendation, if you're going to be wanting these, if we take with everything they've shown us with this, I would more than likely say that the cultists will probably be, I would put them on the same wave as Blood Reavers, because they're going to come in boxes of 10. Do Blood Reavers come in boxes of 10 or 20?
I would also think if it's 40k, you would also have... You'd also have to look at how much a Guardsman box is, and then probably deduct a small bit of money from it, because these are short-ranged melee units. So I would assume roughly between 25 and 30 quid, roughly, for these ones.
I would probably say 25 for these.
Yeah.
For these specific ones, I would say 25. but it's got a 1 on imagination because there is no imagination. They haven't revamped them. They've just taken old kits, mished them together. We've seen these parts before. We know what we're looking at. It's just glorified Blood Reavers. That's all it is. And one thing I did notice, they actually have a female Sculpt.
Yeah, that's like
so that's a start.
That's the biggest part of the imagination. Yeah. There's one of my more favoritable ones.
They've got two. There's two female Sculpts.
Yeah, the female one with the 2 horns. That just reminded me very much of Brayherd stuff.
Yeah. So obviously we have the next types of cultist. I can't fucking stand them. They are.
I need to just go through them originally. So you look at I believe the first one's the one with the long hair and the insect arm.
Yeah, long hair and insect arm. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nurgle. You go across one. Tzeentch. You go across another one. Nurgle again. Khorne. Then Slaanesh. Each of them have a design of a chaos god, and it's shown. And if you're experienced,
it doesn't match.
I know, but I looked at it, and if you look at a quick glance of it, you know which god it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So like Nurgle is probably the one with the mouth.
It's the green one that's very ugly, and then the insect one, because Nurgle mainly focuses, if you look at the main Nurgle form, big fat things and insectoid creatures.
Yeah. So
the Tzeentch one is easily told by the one trying to, with the face mangled up and then a new hole in the center of the chest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Khorne one's blatantly easy because it's red and stabby things.
Yeah, stabby things. And then Slaanesh is sucky things.
Tentacles.
Typical Slaanesh.
Literally tentacles.
So we've got these guys. Now, these are different. I can't find anything on their website, on GW website, that matches or resembles this. So this is a bit more imaginative, but too busy on a couple of them. Agreed. Personally, I would say the more busier ones is the Nurgle one with the tentacle and the weird eyeball leg, and actually the Slaanesh one.
Yeah, I look at the Slaanesh one and I'm not gonna lie, I do feel sorry for if you're gonna try and paint him, because
you've got
they've ripped open his side just to incorporate something, and they had to try and do something to it.
Yeah, and I think, like from a beginner standard, because obviously you've only been in it a few years, I've been 19 years. For someone that's been in it my sort of time, or quite heavy. And there's still, because normally people would class the first 2 to 3 years as still brand new. Some people do, some people only class the first year, it depends. But on a broad sort of scale, it's like 2 years, sort of like the middle ground. After 2 years, you start becoming more of a veteran, stuff like that. But from a beginner standpoint, it's the same as the Possessed. A good challenge. There is imagination in this one, but because of the busyness, it will drop to a 3 for me. 3 out of 5.
Too many fading skin tones into another. That's the main challenge here. You've got to go from a pale skin, or however you want to paint it, to a different color, and I'm still figuring out how to do that. I've some of my death, I do Underworlds a lot, and I've picked up the Nightshades, the rat guys with the spears, and I don't know for the life of me how to merge them, so I've just washed it and washed it again with 2 different washes. Yeah, and again, as an example, and I struggle to look at this and go, I don't think I'd be able to do this myself and make it look good.
I can heavily see. So I would say these are definitely. You will see a lot of people entering this sort of stuff. These and also the Possessed into painting competitions are a lot more, because there is a lot more techniques you can use. From a commission point of view, that's where things will get complicated. Unfortunately, people have set prices. People will charge more because it's going to take more time, get into the blends and stuff, vice versa. So from I would say a challenge rating, you're probably looking at about 4. Same with the Possessed, I reckon. Challenge rating 4 for these guys in the Possessed. The original Cultists, 1. They're just going to get flat. They're just going to get a 2 out of 10. Simple as that, because there's no imagination. There's not much skill.
Yeah, there's too much there, because one of the other things is, as a beginner painter, you normally just go, I'm going to glue everything together and then go to paint it.
Yeah, you're going to have fun. When you're a beginner painter, let's face it, when you're new, you just want to put shit together, have fun, get them built, get them primed, slab a little bit of dish on it, and get into a game. Let's just face it, that's normally what I tend to see from people starting off. I'm not sure about yourself.
No, that's exactly what you see when you look at beginners. I've even talked to multiple people who have started in the hobby and gone, yeah, these look cool, I want to buy this, I'm going to paint it up, I'm going to play it. They just wanted to get straight to the playing, because it's gone to that. It's interesting how different people would see these.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, when you take multiple people from multiple different sort of areas, expertise, so if you take, like, commission painters, people that have been in it for long periods, like, I can sort of understand the beginner side, but I can also understand veterans. I can understand, like, people that want to do this for, like, golden demons and stuff like that, because I've connected with that circle. I know multiple people that have become finalists who have won Slayer swords, stuff like that. I commission paint myself, so I know that this is going to be one of those, but this unit and the Possessed are going to be one of those ones that's possibly going to get highly commissioned. You'll see a lot more veteran painters do it. So a good thing for these guys will be an airbrush, and there is no point denying it. An airbrush would absolutely slaughter these.
One thing I will also say is, I am interested in seeing. I want to see the sprue of these guys, because once you see the sprue, you can see and design what conversions you can make with these guys, and it's going to be interesting on how they would do it. They might fit well with the cultists beforehand to make more of these weaker possessed type people.
I think that's like a key thing as well when you look at stuff like this, especially with Chaos. Kit bashing with Chaos is just right. It's just naturally right. But I think with these models, I think the Possessed have opportunities to be kit bashed quite well, depending on which way you do it and what you do, and same with all of it. So from a kit bash perspective, I think it works quite well. But obviously, that's not all of the types of the cultists, because we do have the other ones, the torments. Now,
before we get onto the torment, I will say this now. If we only have these 5 monochrome mono statues of, like, the design, and you're gonna have multiple of them in your army, it doesn't look. I don't like having consistently one position, one pose. I have to sit down and convert. I've had that issue with my Imperial Guard a lot of the time, where it's just mono pose.
So, I think they're going to put both those Chaos units together in one box.
I agree.
I think they will do it to an extent. So you would possibly get maybe 10 Cultist, 5 of the other ones. But what we'll do is we'll do a rough price. I would probably say the version 2 cultists that are the curse, I would probably say they're going to be at the 25 mark as well at this current minute, because they look same base size, so we're looking at about 25 there, I would say. 25 to 30.
We might... you also got to think that you might get 10 of them, and then we don't know how GW is going to price it. So I'm roughly looking at this, and I shouldn't be comparing it to Imperial Guard, but if you look at the Imperial Guard, just standard 10-man box kit, originally it was 20 quid, now we've got it at like 29 something or other.
Yeah, I think it's, if I remember right, it's like...
It's going to be something like that.
29.50 or something like that.
But nearly the same price as Space Marines, which, again, I don't like, because I buy a box of Guardsmen. I can build them, paint them, and play them however they want. But that one Guardsman squad is not going to stand up to that.
Guardsmen
right there
are £30. So I actually do think both these cultist boxes will be £30.
Yeah, which is not. If it is, it's bad. Because again, if they're going to be 30 quid, they're going to be the exact same price as a Space Marine Space Marine Intercessor squad. And then what would you go for? An Intercessor squad that can easily wipe out this 10-man cultist squad for the same price.
Well, I would say you're looking at, I would say, a ballpark of 25 to 30. If we give them some sort of a discount between 25 to 30.
Yeah, it's got to be between 25 and 30 because they've got to price it correctly to what they're going to be going up against.
Well, it's not just that. They're essentially, I'm looking at it from a troops, elites, heavies sort of thing. I would still class the accursed as standard troops, as well as the cultists, but I would also class the possessed as elites. So you would instantly throw those into the categories of aggressors, hellblasters, veteran squads. You would stuff like that, and veterans normally are between 30 to 40 depending on where you go, depending on which ones you buy. For an example, the veteran guardsmen from the kill team are 35, hellblasters are 35, aggressors 35, and obviously if you go elsewhere they'll be a bit cheaper, so on and so forth. So next unit we have are the Torments. I'm sorry, but I fucking hate them. They are shit.
I keep skimming over them going, which one's what God represented?
I'm not even at that stage. I'm at the stage of, okay, which one actually looks fucking good?
One's trying to attempt a dragon, one's attempting, I don't even know what the hell weird creation of knives.
These are supposed to be warp torments that are possessed by demonic rituals and dark rituals and demonic influences, and they're abominations. So, with what we can see, there is only 3 here.
I'm assuming they're going to be something along the lines of the warp spawn abominations already.
Yeah.
Warp spawn, I think they're called.
I think they are. I can have a look.
But they're going to be something along that line, but more generalized.
Yeah.
Because warp spawn, you'll look at them and go,
Chaos spawn.
Oh yeah, chaos spawn. But you could immediately look at them and go, that's a definite that god, and that god. But these ones, you can't tell if they're dedicated to one god or not.
So
the first one, in all honesty, very I think that would be more Cornate. The second one's Zinch. Third one's Nurgle, just by design.
But at the same time, it's a bit complicated. So by the looks of things, these are 40mm bases. So you're looking at, you're probably looking at Chaos Spawn prices alone. So they are 30 quid for 2. And
this is probably going to be 35 for 3.
I wereckon 35 to 40. Because by the time these come out, we're probably going to get another price increase. And the price increases are still slowly rolling out.
Most likely.
So I reckon these are going to be between 30 to 35. Obviously, I can speak to a few contacts I have and get a bit more accurate. But personally, I do not like them. They're too busy. They don't look good. Personally, obviously this is all personal opinion. I can't stand them. They're too complicated. They're too busy. So this is one thing I've noticed, especially with what we've just looked at. They've gone from no imagination to going, I'm going to shove this pole so far down, it's going to break the bloody Earth's core in 0 to 100, and it's too much. And don't get me wrong, they look cool. I can see why people would be pleased with them, but from my opinion and my perspective as 19 years in the hobby, someone who does commission painting, who has been around the bush, the block, whatever you want to call it a few times, these are extremely busy, but I do know people that do like them. They're personally just not for me because they're too busy, they're too hectic, and they've overcomplicated the model.
I agree with you there. I like the look of them. I'm not going to lie. I like what they designed. I'm just... looking at them and going, I don't want to paint that. That's going to be. I would buy it once, it sits on a shelf, never gets done. Maybe I talk to someone to get it commission painted. The only other thing I like about it is that they've started putting chaotic versions of purity seals on them. And I love the fact that they're drawing attention to that.
Yeah, I think, like, so one of the reasons why I'm not a fan is because you don't know where to look. It's your eyes can't focus, and my eyes can't focus on a single part of any of these because it's just drawn to so much stuff because there's just so much going on. That's why I feel they're more complicated from someone that has learning difficulties and stuff like that and can't really focus that much that well. These give me a bit of an overload.
This is the good part about me, where I can hyper focus on every little detail.
Whereas for me, it overloads my system because these are just so goddamn complicated.
Yeah. But again, just looking at them, they do look decent. It's just, again, one of those ones that would be more of a challenge to apply yourself to and go from there.
So I think despite them being so complicated, the imagination is there. So they are going to get a 4 for imagination because it is there. We'll say 4.5 actually. They have really sort of gone out there with these guys. But they've done it in a way where they're overcompensating. Challenge, these are definitely a 5 out of 5 for challenge rating. Definitely a 5 out of 5. So, obviously, next we have the new HQ unit called the Dark Commune. Now, I actually really like these. I really fucking like them.
I'm sorry, but I will immediately say this here and now. You look at the guy with the big sword in the back that looks like a fucking Nazgul.
That is
it's
why
a Nazgul.
It is basically a Nazgul. Yes, I will agree. I really dig these because these are really different. Like, yes, you can see Nazgul references with the two guys with the swords. They are 100%. They've taken inspiration from that. But the banner guy is really cool. I really like these, and the fact that this is a cultist specific HQ. That makes it interesting because and the whole time I've been playing Chaos, and I've been playing Chaos now since 6th Ed, there has not been a single, even when cultists got introduced, they had an aspiring champion, but he was always a Marine. And these are actually really cool. I really like these. This is one of those ones where, yes, their imagination has gone a bit crazy, but it's at a good level. Like, there is still several kit bashes you can do with this. Several. And it'll be interesting to see what happens.
The biggest one that I actually had to double take on is the guy that looks like he's had his head removed and stuck on a pole.
Which one's that?
The guy who's the big he's got his arms out left and right, and it's on one of the Nazguls.
Okay, yeah. So, to me, that reminds me of Squidward.
Oh, yeah.
Squidward has been decapitated, people. He is no longer with SpongeBob. SpongeBob bitched his ass and slapped it.
Oh, bloody hell.
But yeah, no, I really like these. I think these are really cool, personally.
Yeah, like, for once they've got something to rival... again, the best thing to equivalent cultists to are the Imperial Guard. They're finally getting their own versions of, I'm assuming, generals, commanders, something along the line of some sort of hierarchy. We're finally looking at cultists in themselves, in storyline, are just a band of people that get sent in before all the more elite stuff. I'm looking at this and going, they're finally looking at it like the Gaunt's Go series with the Blood Pact, where they're more organised. They're more of a fighting force. They're more of a mimic of the Imperial Guard, a insult to the Imperial Guard.
Yeah, I think that's going to be quite good. And I think with the way they are, there's 5 of them in there. There is one whole unit as well. I just want to point out, it is one whole unit. So you're looking at sort of like 5 dudes that are pretty sort of like gnarly. Price-wise, I'm not I'll be very surprised if they go for less than 40. 35 to 40 for these guys, because they're not just a unit, they are a HQ. As we all know with characters, they go, let's whack the price up. So 35 to 40, I think would be quite a fair price for these, with how GW does the marketing, and with all the character stuff and command squads. If you look at the Gaunt's Ghost, they're 42.50 for 6 guys, so about 35 would actually seem about right for these guys.
Like, I keep looking at the Nazgul-esque guys going, they're probably going to have a special effect like a Lookout Sir of any effect, because they look like the chaff of this big unit. They look more of the I need to take the hit other than these more important guys.
And out of all of them, so out of all the Chaos stuff we've just seen, I think my favourite will have to be Dark Commune, because yes, they're new, they're imaginative, but they're not too complex. They haven't gone out of the way and gone, let's go crazy. But I would say the Dark Commune are my favourite between the Cultists, the Torment, and the Possessed, just because they're very new, and I really like them, and the Nazgul sold at them. The Nazgul guys just sold me for them.
I've got to agree with that. The Nazgul part sold me the most, because it was quite amusing. It was quite a small dig to it, but it was quite the nice reminisce of, it's a cultist. They're going to look like that. They're going to try and do something with it. It's more of a, this is the most imaginative one there.
So, I think
not too busy, not overcrowded. There's something there for every skill level.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing as well, especially when it comes to cultists. You don't want them too busy, but you don't want them not so busy. But yeah, so next thing we have up is, this isn't so much models, but it is World Eaters. And I called this a year ago. When Ninth Ed got released, I called it, said World Eaters, World Bearers, Emperor's Children will get their books this edition. I called it. And I called it on Twitch streams several times. And what do we find out? World Eaters get their own book.
I'm not going to hear the end of it, am I?
No, you're not going to hear the end of it, because I am pissed at... So...
Well, at least since they're getting their own book, more of the people who actually do play Chaos, instead of having to continuously take the Chaos Undivided book, the only thing that I see here is they're going to have to buy the Chaos Undivided book if they want to run some of the generic demon stuff with it. But I don't know how they're going to do it fully, because yes, they're going to have a book for the World Eaters, yes, Emperor's Children, yes, the other factions. But the issue with that is, once you start doing that, the more generalized stuff, I want to know what's going to happen to the Fallen, the generic stuff.
I think they'll stay in their own. I think they'll stay in their own book. But I think what they'll do. So for Emperor's Children, I think they would put the Slanesh demons in there. World Eaters, easily. They could put Khorne Demonkin in there very, very, very simply, because World Eaters is all about Angron. Angron is technically a big steroid-based bloody bloodthirster. So
isn't this going to be a bit contradicting on? Isn't the Thousand Suns book already out?
Yes, for Night Fed, yes it is.
They're gonna, if you want to follow that design flaw, they would have to re-release the Thousand Suns book with all the Tzeentch demons in it.
I think the Tzeentch demons actually are in the book.
I don't play any of them.
I'm pretty sure they are, but if not, someone let us know. I'm pretty sure they have their own. I'm pretty sure they do have access.
Again, the codex I have accessible on none of them.
Yeah, so I think they will get it all sort of together, but at the same time, we're not 100% sure. So from there, it will be one of those things. But no, so I think now. This is one thing that I've been asked several times on live streams. Does this mean that are we going to get Angron? I will say yes.
I'm hoping with the new release of these books, we are going to start seeing all of the Primarchs coming back. Because if you've got we've already got Magnus and Mortarion. We've got Gilliman. And those are the main ones that actually have models in the 40k universe. The rest of them you cannot use. They don't have models, or they're dead.
So the only one we know that has a model and is confirmed in lore that is come back and is going crazy is Fulgrim. He is the only one that is currently at the minute
ripping a new one
on Ultramar. On the Ultramarine Zone planet. He's the only one that's been confirmed to be about because there is a passage that says a 6-armed snake creature going around and slaughtering Ultramarines. That's all we know. And there's only one demon / character that matches that description. That is Fulgrim. And when it was described, they came out of the warp right when Fulgrim when Gilliman was resurrected by an Eldar with a thick booty. Because that's all that basically what happened. Eldar walks in. You guys have seen the meme. You know what we're on about. So we know
diplomatic relations went too far.
Yep. Heresy, the full lot. So there is that aspect. So, obviously, the next one we have is the Demon Prince. Now,
I like it, but there could be a bit too much on there, in my opinion.
For me, it's difficult because if you look at the old original one, so I'm talking the original lead metal one,
the lead ones.
The design is very similar.
It's just again the lead one was smaller.
Yeah, I'm gonna say now the 4 Chaos Godheads. What the hell were they doing? I'm sorry, but no. Just wrong.
No.
I don't like any of them. They're all bad. They've tried too hard. And let's be real. The Slaanesh one, the Nurgle one, are not new sculpts. Fun fact.
Yeah, because I swear the Nurgle one is... I know that the Slaanesh and Nurgle one are from previous sculpts, but I've started playing Total War Warhammer 3, and I know that they're like one of the big leaders for Slaanesh and Nurgle.
Yeah, so this is where it's going to get fruity, people. Because when it comes to those heads, the Slaanesh head is the Keeper of Secrets head, but shrunk.
Oh, yeah, it does look out of place.
Let's be real. And it gets better. It's not even the main Keeper of Secrets. If you dive into it more, it's not even a Keeper of Secrets head at all.
God.
This is where it gets really, really messed up. So, the Slaanesh head, yes, resembles the Keeper of Secrets, but there is a model that is more closer to that head than there is on any of the other ones. It is from the Slaanesh line, but here's the kick in the teeth. It's an Age of Sigmar model.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, so the model I am referring to is Shalaxi Hellbane, or the Sinessa, the Voice of Slaanesh. The heads are very, very similar to that. So, and I believe with the heads, it's probably an exact replica. And I am now currently looking at it, and they are very similar in heads. There are differences though. So they're not so much a exact copy, but there is enough difference between them to make them not. But at the same time, they've taken that base design, so there's not much sort of like imaginative, but there is at the same time. The Nurgle one is actually from a specific kit, and it is a character that is actually from.
I recognize it, and it is kicking me that I can't remember the damn name.
Rotigus. It's the named Great Unclean One. All they've done is given it an extra bit of length on the tongue. Now, I'm not saying they're bad heads, because they're not too bad, but I dislike them very, very heavily. The fact that the Slanesh one, I have just noticed, has a tongue bar in, makes it hilarious. And now people will never be able to unsee that.
I know there's a tongue bar there,
It's
but
so stupid.
I like the Nurgle like reuse of the head because he's like a certain character, and it gives the whole point of, hey, look, I'm gonna use this demon prince, and I'm just gonna rename him Rotiger or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Like the other two, which are the Khorne and the Tzeentch, are
the
more.
Tzeentch one
I
should have
think
been
they're
better.
generic.
I'm sorry, but whoever done that Tzeentch one, don't do it again.
It's very
turkey.
flamey.
No, it's too turkey-like. I know, obviously, the Keeper, the Lord of Changes, get nicknamed Turkey Boy and stuff like that. I've called it that several times, and I know other people to do. But it just looks like a pissed off chicken now. And it does not, with the way the body is, it does not suit the model. The only one that I feel suits the model is the Khorne one. Because it actually looks like it's supposed to be there.
I will also correct you there, because there is 5 different heads, and I honestly do like the generic demon head.
Generic one is nice, but at the same time, I don't know, it's really hit and miss for me personally, because I despise the model. I really do despise it.
Yeah.
Because, yet again, we haven't seen the sprue, obviously, so we don't quite know what's going on. We already know that it has wings that go on it. But what made me laugh the most is this entire model with the Age of Sigmar Chaos book that is not due for release until December was completely leaked. We've seen all the stuff with the Chaos book for Age of Sigmar. We already know the Slaves to Darkness book is coming. We know what's in it. The new Demon Prince model got done. The stats got done. And then 24 hours later, GW went, oh, no, here it is. And so, okay, now we know these rumours are confirmed to be from playtest teams that they have in their head office, but we know that Games Workshop are allowing this to stir it up, to get people hyped, to then drop it, to have it all confirmed. So with the current state of the company, rumours and stuff, you might as well believe every rumour because it's true. Let's face it.
My reason to hate the Demon Prince model is more of it's specifically 40k. Whenever you ever played demons, and whenever you played demons ever, you knew that if you were picking up a demon army, that you could play 40k and Age of Sigmar, and you just knew that you could play both of them for the price of one army. And specifically tailoring it to 40k, yes, I know we would have needed a specific version to look at, but I would have said that could have come in the fact of maybe a weapons kit that could be sold separately to a new properly designed Demon Prince to make it look more 40k or more Age of Sigmar, and that could have been maybe a bit more profitable than just specific 40k.
So, fun fact, it is the same model. There's 2 different versions to build it, so you can build the Age of Sigmar one, but there is only a few differences.
I'm assuming mainly the shoulder pads.
Let me look at the...
Because most of this armor is 40k related. Looking at the
okay, so by the looks of things, you're going to get 2 different sets of legs.
Yeah.
You're going to get 1 set of arm. So it depends, because I reckon it could be a 2-in-1 kit, or they could sell it separately. It would not put it past me for Games Workshop to do that, because looking at the 2 models, there are, yes, very similar sort of things between Age of Sigmar and 40k one. But there is still that fear that they would do it separately. So, let's talk about pricing.
50. Like 40, 50.
I would probably say about that.
It looks like it's on a 50 mil base or bigger, and I'm not gonna lie, anything between a 50 mil and bigger, they've got to have and it's a character,
I
roughly.
would say 50 as well. Well, I would say 45 to 50. We'll give it like a £5 sort of leeway, just in case. But yeah, for me, I don't like this model, personally. I know several other people that don't like it, and we've all agreed there is just too much going on. Even with the Age of Sigma version, there's too much going on. So, that brings us to this piece of shit. Not the model that was shown right now, but the fucking, your good old fashioned bloody battery operated clippers with a midget on the top. I'm sorry.
You mean the trike?
I'm sorry. I have so many issues now with the company now with this. It looks like fucking shit.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I can agree and disagree at the same time.
I hate it.
I do like the idea that they're trying to make hover stuff, but I would have rather have them take inspiration from the older bikes. Like, again, I don't mind the design of the squat on top of it as well. Like,
oh, that just looks so stupid.
I'm gonna get round to that one in a second.
You know exactly the part I'm on about. It just looks so bad.
I like the weaponry. They could have redesigned the bike a bit better. But the biggest notion on most of these bloody squats is where's the beard?
And yes, that has been pointed out by several people. The other thing that's been pointed out, I want to point out the trailer that they used to promote this.
I'm going to go out of my way to buy dwarves with beards, sculpt them onto these damn squats to make them look like proper damn dwarves.
I'm sorry, but let's also talk about the trailer, that how they promoted this.
It was stupid.
It looks like a 80s fucking Action Man bloody promo went wrong. They've tried so hard and they have fell off a cliff and just fucked it. They have ruined it. I know so many people. I have spoken to various different people in the community. I have spoken to various different people on Twitch. We're all in the same minds. It is not a good look what they're doing. At the start, it was not bad. The original one, the ones they previewed weren't too bad. They were okay, a bit iffy, a bit cartoony, but now they've just gone, what the fuck? And it basically looks like your set of battery operated clippers to shave, and they've just spread it apart a bit and put a midget on top. I'm sorry, but no. Whatever, they should have stuck to the original design, because there are still bikes like that. We've seen it with Gene Stealers. We've seen it with some of the Necromunda stuff now. There is trikes and that. Why couldn't they do something like that and still keep somewhat of the original looks, just modernized it, instead of going, let's grab a head shaver?
I can probably tell you why. So, they cannot replicate the the two twin bolters at the front because it's already on Space Marine scout bikes, any bike that the Space Marines have. B, they can't really take from the original model because that'd be pretty much copying what it was. Also, it looks very Harley Davidson-like, and that might be a copyright there. So, I think what they were trying to do, and they tried a bit too hard, was take the original design from the trike that they originally had, make it a hover bike, because that's going to be more technology there. The squats are heavily known for, even if they're meant to be feuding with each other, they stop everything for science, technology. It doesn't matter what. They will come together just to advance in science and equipment. And again, they've tried too hard to recreate something that was dearly loved.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue. They've tried so hard to do it, and they have just fucked up. I'm sorry, but there are people probably going to be in the comments complaining. If you don't like it, tough shit.
Like,
Simple
I'm still gonna obtain them. I'm still gonna convert them. I'm still gonna make them look good. But I'm gonna make them good in my own way of I'm gonna give them bloody beards and trim that bloody bike down a bit.
But obviously as well, they are classed as a bike. If we look at previous bikes, I will probably say they're going to go for 3750, the exact same as an Outrider attachment bike squad.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a pause there because I'm looking at this going, they only showed one. Now, does that mean it's going to be a hero bike unit, or are they going to be each separate?
This is the issue as well. We have, if they sell a box of 3, I would say you're looking at 3750 for 3.
Yeah.
If it's 1, so if we're looking at 1, you're probably, if we're looking at like 1 for a character that he probably will be,
25, 30 for a character on a bike.
I would say 25 to 30, yeah. If it's just the 1 and it's like some named character, if it's some character. Because
also,
we don't know whether it's a single model or a unit yet. That's the thing.
I'm going to also bring attention to their the actual shotgun that the guy's carrying. The first half of it is a revolver. The second part of it is a pump shotgun.
Yeah. I will say though,
2 guns.
I will say their imagining was going right until they didn't. Like,
They took 2 of my favourite guns and butchered them and glued them together.
it's just so bad. It really is. And I'm not sure who's designed that. I can already guarantee we're going to get flimsy bikes, the stands.
Oh yeah, you look at it.
I'm sorry. But if you look at it actually, now you're saying that, it doesn't have a stand. It's leaning on a fucking rock.
I was about to draw attention to that. It's one of the hover pods are on a rock, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this one's gonna be a challenge just to paint.
Not just to paint, but to get it stuck to that base. Let's face it.
Yeah, but you go like if you want to paint the underside and make it look good, you've got to leave it off the model first, and then find a way of gluing it on.
So, imagination. I'm gonna give it a 3 because they've grabbed the set head beard trimmers.
They went in the right direction,
but too cartoony. They went too cartoony, I feel, with this, and it seems to be a big thing. So.
They went a bit too far.
The next thing we have is the Necromunda stuff. The squats for Necromunda. I'm sorry, but what the fuck was going through your heads, Games Workshop? Did you suddenly...
Baby face!
I'm sorry, but their baby faces, all they remind me of is a Judge Dredd ripoff. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. So... Deal with my reasons.
I agree, but also I've got to draw like some of them. Yes, they've attempted on a single beard, which is the nice grey beard on one of the guys who's just holding a one-handed pistol.
Yep.
Yes, I love that. I love that design. The helmets make sense because they're miners. They're meant to be there.
I'm sorry, I hate it. I hate them. They're too goofy.
I like them because they make sense, but the one thing that I keep looking at is their armor, and they look so similar to the Arcanauts.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for me is with these guys is I'm not sure if you remember, but the bot from Blackstone Fortress,
roughly.
Yeah, so that has actually been confirmed to be a squat AI.
Oh, but you what? You mean the one that I'm about to pick up off my desk?
Probably, yes. Basically, what they've done is they've just miniaturized it.
I think it's UR25 or something like that.
Something like that.
That would be interesting. Because again, the biggest. Well, I want to see how big these are compared to squats. Because again, they're the same. They're same because they're both dwarves. But one's more Lightfoot stealth and work in the Imperial Guard, where these ones are actually their own faction. So I wonder what's going to happen to the squats after this.
Well, this is just another section of the squat stuff, because they have sort of, I do apologize about that, people, my phone went off. So these are another section of the squats. So it's just, this is the another core part of the Leagues of Ultron. Because these are the prospectors versions. But I'm sorry, but I dislike these. Whoever come up with the idea for these guys, I'm sorry, no.
I like the look of some of the guns. Like, I can't tell if it's a multi-melter or a assault rifle type bolter weapon, but some of these look some of the weapons look really imaginative.
I'm sorry.
The armor, very taken off of the Arcanauts. The helmets were very Miner-esque, and they look very piratey, is what I'm trying to get at, and that is not really what dwarves are.
I just can't stand them. They've made them so cartoony now, and it's just, people aren't laughing at them or laughing with Games Workshop. They're not laughing with them about this. They're laughing at them. Because when this got announced, I just pissed myself laughing. Not literally, but I was in stitches. Because it's just so funny. The whole lot of it. We already, a rough price site, wave, we can just take the standard Necromunda gangs that I think are like 30 quid a piece, if I remember rightly. Obviously, we're giving UK prices, because that's where we're from. And I believe they're about 30 quid a pop.
Roughly.
Yeah, about
30, 35.
Yeah, about 35. We'll say 35 to be safe. For 35 quid, you're getting a batch of cartoon dwarfs. Let's be real.
I'm sorry, but micro Judge Dreads, as you say.
Yeah, it's Judge Dredd gone wrong. And I love Judge Dredd. Like, I've seen the films and that, and I really do like them. But this is just a rip-off of Judge Dredd. They don't look good. They look too comical. And Games Workshop are trying so hard to sell it that they're just being fools now.
I can give you two things that why squats have been starting to get released now. It's either they're finally needing to bring them out because the public's finally had enough of demanding it and just nearly about to give up, or their company's about to go down the shitter so badly that they need something that will bring the community together. But the issue is, this is bringing the community together against them.
So, there is a third reason. There is a third reason. So,
yeah.
Games Workshop have been announcing this, and it fits in timelines with specific things. For example, Mantic Games just released Firefight in Dead Zone, correct? Not long ago. What's the biggest selling fraction they have?
I think dwarves, ain't it?
Yes, the Forge Fathers, that are technically squats, and I am currently painting them up over on Twitch. But they're not the only company. There is another company, I think it's Atlanta Games. I can't remember for a definite, but I will get the link and I'll put it down in the description. They also sell Space Dwarfs.
So
wait for it. There's a third company.
I'm assuming what you're trying to get at is that GW is trying to get their version of the dwarves out before all the good-looking versions are copyright claimed. But the issue is they've made them too comical and too non-dwarvy.
The first two people I've already mentioned already have their products out. The third person doesn't. But the third person confirmed it and has already released sketches and artwork for it, and that is the Ravage Star series from Mini Wargaming. We'll obviously be covering that in another podcast at the end of the month. But they are also releasing their own version of the squad, so it seems very ironic the Games Workshop are doing this, but they've done it in a way where it's really cartoony. I know loads of people that will still buy it, but personally for me, this was terrible.
I'd say I'm going to be one of those people who will go out, buy them, but I'm going to have to sit down and convert them because,
Yeah.
I don't mind the helmets. I don't mind what they're using, what their gear is, but I cannot, for the life of me, look at that clean-shaven face and go, that is not a dwarf.
Well, you can just look at it, and the phrase that comes to mind, that face is only of a face that a mother will love.
Oh,
But they're all the bloody same.
I've always looked at dwarves and gone, if a dwarf has had his beard shaven, he's been disowned by the clan, he's done something that bad that he's been forced to shave it off and put into exile.
And I think that is a big part of Dwarven lore, is that aspect. So,
it is.
We're going to move on to another thing, and it is the new Kill Team box. Now, people are going to despise me for what I'm about to say. These Chaos models are not fucking new.
I remember this conversation.
Yes, the box they originally came out in was 2 to 3 years ago, where they done a splash run of it, moved it on with a few expansions, and then stopped selling it.
So, do you want to know something even funnier? I still have that box set.
You know what
still unpainted.
You know the set I'm on about, yeah?
Yeah, one of these models is sat on my desk right now, needing to be painted. But I keep looking at this and going, I like the Ogrin and I like the Chaos Commissar, but they're Forge World models put to plastic. You look at the Chaos. You look at some of the Chaos guys. Yes, they've again. This is what I've been saying about the Blood Pact in the storylines of Gaunt's Ghost. We finally have something that looks somewhat like an Imperial Guard squad that looks like a Mickey take.
So,
the biggest things that I hate, though, is the guy with the knife, because I do not care what anybody says. That gun reminds me of a Tanith las gun, and it reminds me of Elijah Koo too much.
So, for people that wonder what box set we're on about, we are on about Blackstone Fortress. These are the exact same models that was run with the Blackstone Fortress series. Now we're going to go into the Phobos armor stuff.
Hold on, one thing I will say is, I like the guy with the shotgun and shield. I am going to be picking up this box set specifically to unchaosify 10 of those shields, 10 of those shotguns, and unchaosify them and give them to my Imperial Guardsmen just to make a Crusader squad.
Yeah.
Give them some power swords on their back, make them look amazing.
Yeah.
Or just try and sit down, unchaosify some of them, and make a full Crusader squad out of it.
Right.
Again, some of them look amazing.
So let's go to the Phobos squad. Oh wait, that is not brand new. It's just got a few upgrades to the sprue.
I have no comment on it. It's just, hey look, here's something we've already released. Here's some new shinier versions of it that look better.
They don't look better.
They're given a bit more not monochrome design.
Well, it's very... So, I've already noticed there isn't many poses in this box with the Marines.
Yeah.
Personally, no point buying. Like, yeah, if you want the scenery, get it with the scenery. Oh wait, the scenery is separate. So if we're this is already going to sky plummet. This is at least 125.
I agree. Like the issue
Because
is,
I think
I
that's
would
the
want.
running price for them as well. But go
Yeah,
on, carry on what you said.
the issue is, I would sit down and actually go out and buy them just for the whole point of I like some of the unique sculpts. I'm gonna want to pick up some of it, but once this big box set turns into two littler box sets where we've already seen it in the Orcs and the Death Corps Krieg. Again, I've got a box of Deathcore in my room somewhere that I need to build up and paint. But once probably about half a year rolls around, I'm just going to be looking at a box set of Chaos Guardsmen that you can buy for 35 quid, and a Chaos and some Phobos Marines with different sculpts somewhere down the line. We know it's going to happen. I'm just going to be waiting for it to come out separately so I don't have to shell out 150 for just one big box.
Yeah, and I think as well, if we go through and look at it, so the latest one that got released was Nakmund. That was 115. But because of the scenery in it, I definitely think it'll be a 125. But it still could be a 115. There's just the scenery set in there is very expensive.
Yeah, it's one of the bigger ones. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if this is one of the first ones that reached £200, it wouldn't surprise me. Because the big antenna there, that looks like at least 50 quid there. The big compound on the left looks like another 50 quid. The scenery alone looks roughly around 100. You're looking at the Chaos guys, which again I think they're outclassed immediately. But there's going to be 10 of them plus one Ogrin plus one Commissar.
So I can actually confirm some of the pricing right now. So the landing pad alone is 42.50. The antenna with the Vox thing, so the bit that's on top of the thing and the Vox thing is 42.50.
So roughly I was right.
Yeah, so we're already looking at about 100 there alone. The other scenery, by the looks of things, oh, here we go, is 50. So it's 150 plus those two teams. That's a £200 box.
They're gonna best they could if they're gonna make a profit out of that, they gotta jack that down to about 150, maybe.
I reckon they'll still try and pump it off for 115, but there is a chance. I think they would go between probably 115 and 150. I would say, because they don't like doing savings. Let's be real, people.
Plus, with the increased pricing, again, I fully expect this.
And with just the kill team scenery from the other two, they're 67.50. And the only one that has a decent amount of scenery is Octarius. That was the Orcs versus the Deathcore. So, is this box worth it? No, it's fucking not. Don't waste your money.
I'll do what I'm about to do and wait for the new Guardsman, the Chaos Guard stuff, to come out in a separate box, which, again,
I just want to add a note. I can get those right now if I really want to, but carry on.
If anything, if history shows, Games Workshop's already done the whole split box between the Orcs and the Deathcore.
Yeah.
I think they've done it for previous ones as well. But again...
Yeah, the only ones they've currently done it for is the Orc one and Town Sisters at the minute.
Exactly. These guys are too unique of a model to not separate. The only ones that are not unique are the Ogren and the damn Commissar.
Even the standard Marines aren't that. The Marines aren't unique. The Ogren and Commissar aren't unique.
Ogren and Commissar are Forge World, I know that. The Guardsmen, again, they
Blackstone
are
Fortress with it.
X. Yeah,
They're
they're
black.
Blackstone
So
Fortress.
they're Blackstone Fortress with an upgrade sprue for heavy weapons. It's the heavy weapon upgrade sprue.
Yeah.
So that's all they've done is thrown an extra sprue in, and they'll charge 40, 50 quid probably. No,
I think those are Mark III las guns.
there is a possibility. So next one, we're gonna go to
I
Age of
really like the
Sigma.
design.
So we have Sneaky Boy Rat. Now, I actually really like this for one reason. It
Yep.
reminds me of the old Warhammer Fantasy rat. I'm trying to think of what the name is. I'm now going to have to go on the Age of Sigma part because it's going to bug me. And it already has started bugging me. What it reminds me of. So, it reminds me, there's a few models it reminds me of. So one of them is the old school gutter runners.
Oh yeah, the gutter. It reminds me of the gutter runners. But the first thing that came to mind, again, I'm such an Underworld fan that it reminded me immediately of Snark Snitch Tongue, I think it is. But he's the leader with a halberd.
Yes.
This guy is the more sneakier, the sneaky stabby one. I love it. I love
just
his
realised
design.
something.
I love the poison. The only thing that's similar is they've redesigned the base again.
No, that base is exact.
The exact same.
It's basically the exact same.
The issue is the model's down in my shed, and I would love to go compare it.
You're the only. So do you want to know the differences between them?
Yeah.
This is stoned. The other one's slabbed. That's it.
Yeah.
So there's literally no difference. So yet again, Games Workshop, you have no idea of imagination. But I do like the rat itself because it does remind me of the gutter runners.
Again,
there was. I'm trying to think. Do you remember the old school assassin model?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for horde armies. These Skaven are my thing. I love them.
But yeah, gutter runners mixed with the assassins. Like, don't worry, it is a nice model. I do like this one.
One of my biggest points that I will always point out here is the detail that they've put in. They've shown that they have a throwing weapon, which, again, poisoned. They use their tail, which is poisoned. Their dagger, it's poisoned. They are specifically built to poison, be a pain in the ass, an affliction, an assassin, a murderer that is good at what they do.
And I think as well, it's nice to see they haven't overcomplicated it. Because looking over like the Skaven line, yes, there's a lot that are very simple. The only model I find that are very busy are the Storm Fiends.
Yeah.
The rest of them are pretty solid. So I actually really like the direction they went with this one because they've kept to the old school classic Skaven look, and they've also mentioned that they have maintained the classic Skaven look. That I think is very good of them because it's going to be interesting.
Then again, you've also got to look, Skaven, how long has it been since Skaven have had an update to their model line or any update?
The last update they had was End Times with... Oh, what's his bloody face? Bear with me. I have the tab open. We'll say a proper update because they did technically get the Warlock Bombardier.
The official update stuff was during the End Times.
Yeah,
if you want to go by technicality, you'd go over into Underworlds and go for the most recent box that's being released, which I still need to pick up.
Yeah, but if we say a proper update with a proper range revamp, it was Franquil and the Bone Ripper back when the End Times happened, and that was quite some years ago now.
Yeah.
So the next one. I'm sorry, I'm going to cause rage with you. I fucking hate this model.
Sylvaneth?
Yes, it's too fucking busy.
You mean the one with the spear and the 4 wood whips?
Too busy.
I'm not gonna lie. I look at it,
It makes me
and
laugh.
I somewhat agree with you. It is a bit busy, but I'm looking at that going, how the hell am I meant to transport that unless I'm physically meant to go out my way to buy a case, buy pluck foam, and then put that in a pluck foam case?
I think that's going to be the only way to transport it.
I don't see a way of building it and transporting it without breaking it.
But no, for me, I'm sorry, I dislike this model. I don't know what it is, and it could just be the model, it could be the way they've painted it. I just thoroughly dislike it because they are trying, once again, too hard. Sylvaneth does not sell that well.
Again, wait till I get my hands on it.
Not there. I'm only, besides you, I only know of one other Sylvaneth players. Because a lot of the Sylvaneth players don't play Warhammer. They've transferred Sylvaneth over to Kings of War to play Forces of Nature. And it actually is a lot better.
The funniest part is I am the only person I know that plays Sylvaneth as Sylvaneth in Warhammer.
Yep, and badly.
And yeah, because yeah, but this is mainly against you, who's tournament lists and everything.
No, I play meme lists that become tournament lists. But
yeah,
if I was to do a Sylvaneth list, I'm sorry, but it would be too funny. I would just play memes at this point.
So one of my questions is, I can't tell what type of which orc that is between a normal orc or a swamp orc.
That's
can't
not an
tell.
orc.
What the hell is it then?
That
is crushing.
Is a plague bearer.
Oh, now I see it.
So what they're actually doing is that they are continuing the story from Plague Garden.
That's going to be the interesting one.
Because Plague Garden was the last time you ever saw Gardus, I think his name is. I think it's Gardus or something like that. It's a unique Stormcast hero that is the only one that's ever made the Nurgle god scream in pain.
Yeah, I remember listening to the book.
Yeah, I've got the book. I've read it a couple of times, and I actually thoroughly like that book. Despite being a Chaos player, I thoroughly like it.
He's the only person that's been able to bitch slap a god and made him cry, and I love it.
Yeah. Yes, I think... I don't think he even died either.
No, he was one of the only people that was able to get transported back.
Yeah, he was the only survivor. One of the only. But, so this new character model, I'm not too keen on it.
Again, I'm going to have, if it's a hero unit, I'm only going to buy one.
It's a hero. It's Lady of Violence.
Yeah, I'm going to have to maybe pick up 2 to 3, because I'm one of those people who go rule of 3. I've got to have 3 of each unit at max capacity to make it, to somewhat do something with it. Or I go by like the biggest battle scroll and max capacity it.
Well, I can already turn around and tell you now, it is going to cost £35 to £40. If we go on the recent characters. So the Warsong Revenant was 35 and Drycha is 36. So you're looking at about 35, I would say.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say it's going to be somewhere along the lines of Drycha, which, again, one of the characters that I still need to pick up.
I still need to pick mine. I've got mine floating about somewhere.
If you had a second one, I wanted it.
So, the next unit. The Archers.
The Flying Archers.
I'm sorry, but fuck off.
No. It finally gives me another unit.
Yes, but these are so fucking flimsy. I'm sorry,
I agree.
But no. So the way they're based are just as bad as those stupid fucking flight stands.
So, I'm not gonna lie. One of the biggest things that I hate about it is that they're a flying base. Their stand is not the best. Another part about it is they could have designed it similar to the Revenants, because at the moment how it's looking is you've got Sylvaneth as the weakest unit is your Dryads. Your semi-capable infantry are the Revenants and the Outcasts. I can't remember what they're damn called. I just know what their scrolls called.
Yeah.
And the Revenants are mainly a melee unit, and what I'm looking at with these flying archers is they're trying to recreate something from the old world, I think.
I think they are.
Plus, they're giving us more ranged options for. I'm assuming they're going to be cheaper in points than Karnoff Hunters. Because if they're not, it's going to be odd.
So the only thing I hate the model. The only thing I would buy them for is the wings. That is it. Because I have so many ideas I can use for those for other game systems. Yeah, for other game systems, I would run them with halflings.
If you ever buy the wings, I would probably convert some of these into with some normal revenants and have them walking around. Because one of the things that I will bring up again from Underworlds is the Sylvaneth kill team. You have the caster, you have a bow, a sword, and an axe. All very similar to what the Karnoff Hunters use, but in Revenant form. And I'm surprised that GW hasn't gone out their way and recreated something along the lines of that, with making smaller Karnoff Hunters by Revenants with different weapon profiles. They've done that, but they've given it flying.
So the wings I like, but they're more fairy-esque than anything. The one thing I feel as well is they've taken inspiration from Lord of the Rings for one of the models. And
Legolas.
It's the one that has the crown.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. But apart from that, no. Fuck off.
I'm sorry, but the one with the crown, that exact pose, I swear Legolas has done that in the film.
Yes, he's done it in the film a fair few times.
Thought so.
But no, these flying ones, fuck off. They... like, the Lady of Vines, too busy. Too busy. I don't like it. Yeah, it's funny because it reminds me of the Plague Garden book. The flying ones, no. They've tried to make a more fairy sort of sprite. Fairy sprite sort of style. And personally, I'm not a fan of that. I think they're going in a really wacky way with Sylvaneth at the minute, because they're now completely going off of what Sylvaneth is originally, via lore-wise. That makes it really weird. So, I'm already going to say these are going to be £35. The same...
I agree. They're going to be roughly the same price as a Revenant, maybe more because they're going to have the flying profile.
Revenant's are 30, so that's why I put them at 35.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense.
Again, as a Sylvaneth player, I love these designs. The issue I'm going to scream at when building them and painting them is how to store them, how to move them, and if I can convert them to make them more solid of a base.
I would recommend, if for basing, you put washers or like a 2p coin in it or something like that. So, we now have the next unit. The Spirit Strider Lancers, what the hell they're called. Now, these, I think, are actually kind of cool.
May I?
Yep.
So, do you know the biggest thing that this reminds me of?
What's that?
The Wanderers, the old Wood Elves on Giant Eagles.
Yep.
That, I swear, is the biggest inspiration, because, again, these are based from old Wanderers, like old Wanderer stuff, but more tree-ish, and they had to change the giant eagle into a big insect because that's what they have. Like, that's what they use.
Yeah, so I actually really like these, but just the bugs.
Oh, okay.
I don't like the fucking dudes riding it. Shut the fuck up. Like, they're just...
no!
They're bad. The bugs I really like because I'm a Kings of War player, and I would throw those into Kings of War in a heartbeat. But from a design perspective, I do not like them. I just like the bug. The bug actually looks like it has character. Price-wise, I will definitely say they will be Crown of Hunter price.
45. Well, 30. I would say
36.
between 35 and 45.
Yeah.
Because again, these are flying. They're going to be one of the more aggressive units. The one thing that I don't like about them is they don't have a saddle. Like, I know it wouldn't
it creeps me
somewhat
out.
fit, but it weirds me out how they don't actually have something that's attaching them to it.
And obviously, we know their books come in, and I believe.
Yay, more money to shell out.
Yeah. So the next thing, the Ogrid Formitards, Feridons.
You mean the chunky bull guys?
Basically, I'm sorry, they're basically Doom Balls.
They are
Bulgars.
they are the smarter version of a Doom Bull because they're actually Chaos Undivided and not just we fight for the bulls.
Yeah, for me, I would personally, yes, buy these, but I would throw them into my Bulgar army and run them as Bulgars because they would fit the aesthetic really well.
They're one of those units that, yes, they look so beefy, but they have so much design. Like again, they do look like Bulgars, but with weapons, which doesn't make sense for Bulgars because Bulgars were the main unit that went. I'm going to charge in, dive through your unit, and rip them a new one.
Yeah, and you know that because I've done that to you several times with my army.
And that's why I hate Bulgars.
But yeah, no, I actually really like these. So I really like them for the pure fact is I will probably buy them. And I probably will put them into my Bulgar army and run them as Bulgars. Just because the aesthetic way they look really nice. I run all my Bulgars with great weapons anyway, so it's pretty much a match ready to go. So for these, I really like these.
One of the questions that I will follow up with is, since this is the ever-chosen Undivided for Age of Sigmar, do you think the Age of Sigmar Undivided book's going to get another revamp?
It already is. We've already seen the book. It already got leaked.
Oh, okay. This is why I don't fucking this.
Let's put it like this. The whole book has been leaked, and it got leaked 2 weeks before everything was shown off. This book isn't released until December, people. We've already seen everything.
Like, what, we got like 6-7 months till it's released, and we know everything?
Yep, all stat lines, everything. We know the stat lines for near enough everything in the book.
Looks like I'm saving up money.
Hence why people know the Demon Prince rules are really bad.
in
Age of Sigmar. They're terrible. But this will be one thing I would buy. But I wouldn't buy straight from GW.
Yeah.
Because obviously this unit here alone, I'm going to go base off of a Bulgar price range for these guys because it's very similar size and they're very similar in size based a full lot. With how they are, I will probably say between 35 to 40 and we'll bump them up a bit because Bulgars are 30, but they're not as big.
I was thinking roughly 40 to 45, maybe even 50, again, due to GW might having to up the prices again later down the line.
Yeah, so if we say between 40 to 50, then I think that's like a
good estimate.
Yeah, well, look at Varangard, for an example. Varangard are, what, 50 quid a box now? They might be actually a lot more.
I think they're 55-ish. I don't remember. I don't know. Again, I don't. You're the Chaos player.
I bought 4 boxes of them like a few years back. That hurt. That hurts so much. Varangard are 65 a box.
Jesus, and there's like 3 of them.
Yeah, when I paid for them, they were 60 quid a pop. So it was 240 quid for just 12 models. So, yeah.
Are we going to be moving on to the Mortals back in Mortal Realm? or is there more chaos stuff we need to talk about?
The one we're moving on to is the two new sagas, two new heroes.
Oh, these two. I will be buying both of the models.
I
I
really
will
like
state
them.
that.
I really like them. They've got the Dereki Flint. I'm sorry, you can kit bash that so easily, but at the same time, I'm a sucker. I'm gonna buy it because I have some really nice ideas for that model.
So
Personally.
again, the only other faction I play out of order is Death, and
That
that's mainly
model's
because I love vampire counts, and I've been loving vampire counts ever since the old world. Anything to do with vampires, I should own. I know I haven't. I don't own some of it, but I keep looking at what's his name? Kado Esserhal, something like that,
something like that. Yeah.
and I love his design. He looks very Witcher-esque with the armor, and it looks so amazing. But with the other guy as well, Derek Flint, again, that's just another Orkanaut to my Orkanaut army, and it's just going to be another named character that looks shiny, looks cool.
Yeah.
Also, I think that weapon that he's wielding, that axe, is also a spear gun. And I love the design of it.
Oh, there we go. So, I really like it. And as people just saw, I just put another thing in because I didn't realise about this. So, next, I really like these two models. I think they're really cool, and I'm probably going to purchase them. They will probably be about 30 quid each.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it's a Black Library thing.
They're definitely going to be somewhere around 25, 30. If I could take my headset off and double check some of the prices, because I have some of the old models that
they're about 25, 30 quid, I think.
Yeah, they're roughly 25, 30. Because the old Bugman stuff, everything.
So the next one is the one that you were mentioning.
The Mortal's back in the mortal realm, finally.
What a waste of fucking time.
Really? After I've just gone finally. Like, I somewhat agree.
I'm sorry, it's an upgrade fucking sprue. They're going to charge 15 quid for each set.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to probably ignore this. Because, again, I'm an order player, I've got Cities of Sigmar. I will refuse to monochrome it all in Sigmar. No. I like the individual factions as they were in the old world. And if they're finally going to be bringing out old world soon, which again apparently is all Forge World,
that's been delayed.
Exactly. It's one of those distant things on the horizon that might not even happen. Like with the squats, we didn't even know that was going to happen until that dropped on April. Well, it was dropped on April 4th.
No, I knew way before. I knew about 6 months prior, back when Night Fair got released.
But with this, it's trying to monochrome and get you to spend more money on making all of your high elves, your wood elves, your wanderers, your Dowie, your humans all fly under one banner.
Yeah.
And I don't see why.
Yeah, no, I'm not a massive fan of it. So, next thing. The new Warcry got announced.
Oh boy.
You know what? I actually really like the Chaos Warband in it. I think they look really cool, personally, but I am a Chaos player.
The one thing that I keep looking at is the Peasant Militia.
Yeah, they're really cool.
The Echoes really Across Warhammer. I love them because the second this would come out as a separate set, I really hope that they make these Peasant Militia into like their own unit.
Oh, I reckon.
Because that would be a good thing to like try and do for like if you're wanting to bring back Bretonia, because they had Peasant Militia. If you wanted to try and go for more of an Empire-esque militia, you could use them as what's their damn name? the fascist ones,
Yeah, I know the ones you're on about.
flagellants.
Yeah, I know the ones you're on about. Yeah.
Yeah, that you could use them as flagellants. You can, again, a lot of these you could use for other things as long as there's not chaos symbols on them.
The Chaos
The
ones, you could technically run as cultists.
Yeah, the other part that I find interesting about it is that all of them have somewhat of a cow on them. Now, that's not chaosy to me. That is the very most recent one of the more recent factions, which are the cow elves that I keep calling cow elves because
Lumineth.
they are the Lumineth.
Nah,
Like,
they're not Lumineth.
no, they're not Lumineth, but
So
they look like a mockery to them.
yeah, so what these guys are is, if you haven't seen the leaks, people, I will cover that in another video. But these are actually a Warcry band that are based around Archeon. So these are actually ever chosen acolytes is how they're actually described in here. So these are actually to do with that. We already knew these were coming. I really like them. I will probably use them in my ever chosen army. So these are going to be 35 quid because they're a separate Warcry band. So we already know they're going to be 35 because that's the generic sort of
the generic sort of price range that you'll normally have for these war bands.
Pretty much. So the next thing we have, the Centurion Marshal. I'm sorry, but just release the army like that.
I'm trying to figure out which one it is and where I put it.
No, I wouldn't know because I just can't see the screen. It's the half horse, half dude. Like, I like it, but I just wish they would bring out more like it because we're still waiting on Dragon Ogre models from Chaos, if anyone remembers those, and they're old.
If anybody plays Total War Warhammer in any fashion, they would know what those are.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would really like to see those models come back, maybe revamped. But I do like this model. I think it's a nice sort of thing they've done. They're keeping up with the Cronus, whatever his bloody name is, the new guy that's just come back from the Mortal Realms. That I think is really, really cool. But we already know price-wise, it's probably going to be around 25 quid. 25 to 30, because if we base it around the Lord Celestin on Dracoth and the Lord of Quillen on the Eagle, they're about the same sort of size basin, the same size model, so it'd be around about 25 to 30 quid.
I'm assuming with the Centurion Marshal, though, this is your first look at them going to be recreating the Dragon guys.
Yeah.
Because this is their first start of seeing what they can create, what they can do. The biggest thing is that this is going to be a very heavily Chaos Undivided thing.
Yeah, and I think they're really starting to put pressure on that because the Ever-Chosen got no love in the previous editions of AOS. The only time they got any love was actually when the end times happened.
Yeah, I think at the moment, though, also you've got to think the Ever-Chosen have been shafted a lot recently.
Yeah.
Like, the most recent one they've had is, again, an Underworld's upgrade to give them a fighting team. That's it. But at least this gives them something to mess around with before we get the big stuff.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a full sort of army based around these guys. But yeah, I would say about 25, 30 quid for this guy, and that's quite a fair price. Well,
I'd say between 30 to 35 due to it probably being a bigger model.
It's actually not. It's actually just the same size. Don't forget the Aquilin and the Dracoth have a rider.
Yeah.
So with this complete one, it would be about the same sort of sizing. So the next thing, Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry, but yes, we now get an army of bear people. Hell fucking yes.
Bjornings.
Yep, we get the Bjornins now. Now, this was brilliant for me because I'm only aware of one other model in the Hobbit range, Lord of the Rings range, that actually is based around this. And I'm trying to remember his bloody name, and I've got to now try and find it because I know the model I'm thinking of, I just can't think of the name. And it was the guy from... Right, the show All Good.
Don't forget, it's probably also...
Bjorn. Bjorn and the Bear. Bjorn and Bear. Yeah. So...
Because if you look at it,
this is the son.
Yeah, because it states his father Bjorn.
Yeah, so I am glad they're bringing these guys back.
Like, they're finally going into the Lord of the Rings range that are more out there, more like exploratory with it, because we're finally getting something that, again, I didn't even realize this was a thing. If you've actually read the books or watched the films, yes, you know that there are Bjornings in the film, and you know that they exist, but to what extent?
Yeah.
There's no world building.
There's not much lore around them, but I am all for it them bringing this back. And I do like my Lord of the Rings because I do play Easterlings that are really horrible now. Really horrible.
Yeah, I play Lord of the Rings too, but I've played one of the most obscure factions ever of Numenor, because I've loved them ever since I found out about them.
So, the next thing, Horus Heresy. I'm going to tell you guys now, we covered this covered this over a year ago when the rumours came out, and I confirmed it that it was a real bloody thing.
Oz. Because you forgot the General's Handbook if you're going by anywhere.
The books, yeah, who gives a shit about those? We're only interested in models. The General Handbook and Chapter Approved, we already know they're going to keep bringing it out. There's not much really we need to cover about that, so I'm not too fussed.
Back to the Horus Heresy.
But back to this box. I predicted this over a year ago. I had it confirmed by my sources. Not just one, not just two, 4 of the bloody people I have.
You predicted this about 3-4 years ago as a passing gag.
Yeah.
And I shrugged it off. I shrugged it off as a joke.
Yeah.
And then we finally get it about four years later.
So, the reason we mentioned that is because I turned around in a group chat with a bunch of other people, went, we're going to get an update for Heresy. It needs being done. And at the time, I was actually living with Rob, and his mum was my landlord. So, here's the funniest bit. So I made a joke about that, and last year I can even give people the exact date right now because I'm currently going back through the videos. The 28th of July, 2021. I sat down with Tim Miller, bloody 117, I think his last name is, on Twitch. I sat with him and I said, if this is true, that I am highly, highly thinking it is, the only thing that's thrown me off is that Spartan, because that is not a normal Forge Barrel Spartan. That is a plastic Spartan. We both agreed by the end of that video it was a true thing. And I've been yelling it's real for the past over a bloody year on Twitch. And people have been going, no, it's not true. Shut the fuck up. I'm now going, you shut the fuck up. I was right. Screwed a lot of you. But, now to the box. That rant needed to happen, and I don't care. I do not care. Right.
So, I'm not going to lie. This is
such a good box.
This is such a good box to finally start bringing more people into the Horus Heresy, making it cost efficient, making it
It's not
plastic.
Cost efficient.
Roughly,
I already have a rough confirmed price from a source of mine who owns a FLGS, and they have already gave me a slight confirm of the price of what they're selling it for.
Yeah, roughly 200.
No, that's how much it's retail.
Yeah, I
They've
know.
already gave me a rough retail cost of between 190 to 200 with the discounts I know most places offer. Even if you go through various things, the cheapest I will probably be able to find it myself is 170 to 180. I might be able to get it lower, but 170 to 180 from your local place, depending where you go. Where I go for my stuff, I get 25% discount constantly.
Again, we've been waiting for plastic. These plastic standard Marines. They've got lovely looking bayonets.
I just want to also point out the box that it comes in looks really good. The box looks absolutely phenomenal compared to the
looking at the Praetors.
So we'll move on to those actually in a minute. So the other thing I'm glad is Beakies are back, bitches. Hell yeah. All you Raven Guard players are going to love... I can see a lot of people playing Raven Guard because of these Marines, because of Beakies. Because Raven Guard is Beakies sort of thing.
One of the biggest things I will also say about this is if people ever go into 30k, and I mean
highly recommend this box.
dive into it, I'm going to have to sit down and once I start a proper 30k army, I'm going to make it themed around my main Space Marine force so I don't have to go out and buy tremendous amounts of one certain thing. And this gives me a firstborn army and the most recent Mark 10 army. Because I've loved the firstborn for ages. I've not been enjoying the most recent Mark 10s because a lot of it is just, here's new shiny thing, have fun.
So, we're going to go to the Praetors. The one thing I'm really liking about this one is its Imperial Fists versus Sons of Horus.
Big axe, big axe, big axe!
Yes. The axes. After two Praetors, I prefer the Terminator, dude.
I want both of them, but I want the big axe.
Yeah. I would personally combined the big axe guy with the Imperial Fist guy.
Oh yeah.
Because
swap the heads around.
Swap the heads around. I would also swap the arms over.
Definitely.
But I would do it so I'm hoping that axe is separate to the arms.
I would assume one of them's fully connected.
But if not, I would swap them over. So the power sword and the bolter goes on the Sons of Horus guy, and the axe goes on the other one, vice versa.
One thing, it's not a bolter. I think that's a Volkite pistol.
Oh Christ, that's a mastercrafted Volkite. That's got to be
a mastercrafted Volkite pistol.
Yep. So
and that sword is a mastercrafted sword because if you look down the center of it, there are 4 gaps.
Yep, that means mastercrafted.
That is going to be
that's a mastercrafted
to transport.
That's a mastercrafted power axe as well.
Yep. The sword's the one that I would be worried about because that looks very dainty if they actually have those gaps.
We're gonna go to the Contemptor, and at fucking last we have a multi-part kit that is a plastic Contemptor. Multi-part plastic Contemptor. Yes.
Finally. I can finally buy Contemptors at cheap price. Yes.
And I really like it. The other thing we've got to talk about, the elephant in the room, a plastic Spartan. Now, we had doubts about this over a year ago.
I want 10 of them.
They're probably going to be the same price as a repulsor. So you're looking at 50 to 60 quid.
That's fine.
That's not bad. I really like them, personally.
I would rather buy a Spartan over a one of the more recent hover tanks because of their design. I don't even know what their rules are going to be because if since they're plastic, they might be updating them to be able to be played in 40k as well. And
they can be played in 40k already.
Yeah, but can they put Primaris Marines in them? Is the next question. I don't think they can. I don't think they can.
So at the minute, we've seen 40 Tactical Marines, a Contemptor, 2 characters, and a Spartan. So we're now also going to move to the bigger bulk. That's 10 Cataphractii Terminators. Oh, saucy. So
Again, they're Carifracti Terminators.
yeah,
What do you need to say? They're plastic Carifracti.
they're already. So we're
They're
also
gonna have two different loadouts. One being their chain axe, not the chain axe, the chain blade in one hand and then gun in the other, and then the other variant's gonna be the two power claws
or
and
power fists.
or power fists. One or the other.
So the other thing as well I want to talk about is the book for this guy, the rule book. From the looks thing, that rule book is huge.
I would like to also state this now. It's got the original. I started in 6th ish, and they've got they got the original scatter dice, which I still love.
Yep.
They got the original red plastic bits that are tape measures, and they have my scatterable explosive.
I just want to say now, if anyone has kids, do not let them have hold of that red thing, or anyone that has a very childish mind, aka me, because I would have
hard.
They hurt. Because I've done it to people, and it's funny as hell.
Yeah, and I did it back.
Just don't let the kids get hold of them. So
yeah,
we've already got it here confirmed. We can't reveal, but they've confirmed it would be less than 200 when it launches.
It's going to be one thing that I'm probably going to go out and buy once, never again.
I think if I get it, I would split with someone.
The issue is I want both sides, is my only problem, because I want the Condemptor, I want the Marines, I want the Carifracti, I want the Spartan, and I want the both of them, mainly because they don't come with any of their symbols, meaning I can paint them in one army, one faction.
I would say, so from my sources, they were supposed to be around 195 to 200 is what people think they are, despite them saying it will cost less than 200, so 195 is a reasonable thing. But if we look at other box sets like this, you could probably go as low as 150. So you're looking at between 150 to 200, I would say.
If it's 150 and people are able to drink that price even more, I would love it. But I'm honestly looking at this going, this is... since it's all been plasticified, I honestly think we are aiming at that 150 mark because it's all plastic. We wouldn't know. We're in the land of the unknown. The only bit being known is the Space Marines price tag of being plastic, because we've originally had plastic them. I don't know if we've had plastic Carifracti before.
Yes, we have. They've always been plastic.
Okay, the only ones that we don't know about are the Condemptor and the Spartan.
I think they actually confirmed the Spartan was going to be plastic. The Contemptor has been plastic.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, we don't
plastic.
know price range normally of it originally.
The Contemptor was about 25, if I remember rightly. If I remember rightly, Contemptor was 25. Each character is 25 each. That's 50. That's 75. Basic Marines, you're looking at 40, so that's 100 quid there. So that alone is 175. Spartan, throw in an extra 50. You're looking at probably retail between 225 and 250 on its own.
Roughly, if you were going...
Oh no, about 300. Because I forgot the Carifracti. So there's about £300 worth of stuff there. So
exactly.
150 is actually a pretty much ballpark price, I would say, personally. Because of... That makes sense. Because or not even that. 150 would be quite a fair price.
I completely... if it's a fair price of 150, then yes, maybe I would actually go out my way and buy two. If I can find someone to lower that price even more.
Well, I know a place where we can do that. We get 25% discount. I'll put the link in the description.
But in all honesty, this is, if you are ever wanting to get into
Heresy, this is your best time.
Yeah, this is the best thing you can go for, because it gives you two factions. You could split it with someone, or you could just buy it for yourself and make it all in one faction. Because I don't think, by just skimming over these, they didn't come with specific tags.
They're upgrade kits, if anything. So
exactly.
So another heresy thing. Obviously, we get the books. We get the Legion's Astartes book and the Legion's Heresy book. Chaos Heretics one. That's pretty
Libera
good.
Astartes, Libera Hereticus.
Now,
the tactical squads that actually have the markings.
yes. So, we have the tactical squads here. So,
I think they've got the Mark 6, the Mark 5, and the Mark 4s.
you got Mark. So let's have a look at this armor. I believe this one.
The Mark 6 are the beakies, the Mark 5 are the ones that have like the tube at the end, and the Mark 4s are the...
we got 3, 4. 3, 4, and 6. So, one thing I like about this is they're no longer 10-man squads. They're selling.
What, are they 20-man squads?
They're 20-man boxes now.
Because that's makes it...
50 quid a box.
That makes more sense to how Horus Heresy works, because again, you don't have one 10-man unit with one guy as a rocket launcher, one guy with a heavy bolter. They're their own separate units.
Yeah. I would say these are going to be 50 a box.
I want to say 45 to make it a little more generous.
Okay, we'll say 45 to 50. But that's just because of the pure fact they are, let's face it, 50-man boxes. I fucking love that. The 20-man boxes.
20-man.
But I'm sorry, but the biggest news of all of it, the 30k Araman and Gorgor Failhand from the Burn and Prosper box are now being sold separately.
I'm buying them. I will be
buying them as well. Because I love those models. I have the Araman model, I just need the other one. Because I have been thinking of doing a Space Wolves Heresy army. So,
like not even doing a Space Wolves Heresy army or a Thousand Suns army. They're just good staple points to put in a glass cabinet.
So I think all in all, that's pretty good. But obviously we've covered the book. The books are going to be standard price, 60 quid a book, easily.
Now my question is, are they plastic?
Yes.
Sweet.
They were always plastic. So we've got the next ones. They are now selling specialist upgrade weapon kits.
This is probably because they are doing the 20-man teams.
Yep, so I don't reckon you're going to be able to get these weapons in that kit.
No.
So
in the standard kit, you'll only be given bolt guns, and then you'll have to go out your way to buy this special weapons upgrade
here's the thing.
kit.
The upgrade kits, I like to point out, the special weapon one that we're now seeing on the screen right now has 10 melters, 10 plasma, 10 volkite, carbines, chargers, flamers, and rotary. So that's all in all 60 weapons. That is going to be an easily 25 quid for that first one.
Yeah, and the funniest part about it is, thanks to these older weaponry, I'm hoping they bring back the Volkite weaponry and stuff into 40k again.
It is because the old Contemptors.
That's the issue, because if we're going to get the weapons kit, they got to put it in Heresy and 40k.
Yeah. So, we're going to go down to the next one, that is the heavy weapons one. That only comes with the bolters and missiles. That there is 10 of each, but I will say
quid.
15.
I say 20 because, again...
I would say 20 because of the other one contains 60. This is an E.
Yeah.
I would take 10 off of it for a double. We've got the next one that has 10 plasmas, 10 heavy, 10 multi. Now that would be a 20 quid box.
Get me my heavy flamer. I think the next one is more of my favourite.
Then we have the next one that is 10 Volkite Carbines, 10 las cannons, 10 autocannons. That there will be another 20. I say.
I love las cannons. I love Volkite weaponry. I just, again, haven't gotten into the Horus Heresy enough to go out and just go straight for the Volkite, because it's too expensive from Forge Work.
I actually own a 10-man Volkite team and a 10-man las cannon team in my Thousand Suns.
They hit hard, and I don't like it.
Next one. The plastic Demikes pattern rhino. It's just a fucking rhino.
It may just be a rhino, but we get missiles.
This is true.
Like, this is the first rhino I think of that has that design of missiles in plastic form. Plus, this is... I don't know if this is the older design or this is the most recent design of the rhino.
It's the Demikes one, so it would be the older version. My mic.
Yeah, I know that there's an older version of the rhinos, and I love the older versions.
It'd be this one probably. So
no, I mean there is an older version of this.
I know the one you're about. So
metal.
These will be 35 without a doubt.
Definitely.
So we don't have to worry about guessing on prices. So funny enough, they've even confirmed it. It's a copy and fucking paste.
Yeah, but this is from Forge World to...
No, it's not.
Plastic.
It's actually a Games Workshop product already. They've actually confirmed it in their article.
Well, they're idiots.
Sisters of Battle.
Actually, yeah, you have a point.
They've actually got it in there. It says it shares designs. So they've basically admitted they copy and pasted it.
Again, it's plastic now instead of having to go to Forge World.
It was still plastic anyway.
Exactly.
So the next one we have, I already started looking at this. The heavy tank. Now, this is quite nice because this is a cross between the Sikaran. Oh, okay. They've even confirmed what I was going to say. Sikaran and Fellblade.
I'm sorry. But the side las cannons, the inner heavy bolters, the heavy stubber type also cannon, and then the big cannon. This is just a smaller version of this is pretty much the what an old-fashioned Baneblade would look like.
So we already have the stats for this as well.
Yeah.
The fact that this thing has bloody Volkite on it is hilarious.
I don't see the Volkite guns, but I might be blind.
So the Volkite...
Oh, it's a variant, not a main cannon.
Yeah.
I was mainly
it can take a Volkite as well.
Yeah, so it can take a massive Volkite cannon...
With Volkite sponsors.
Yeah, with Volkite sponsons. It can have a ram, which, to be honest, that ram looks quite nice.
That ram is very... So, for people that don't know about Heresy, rams and dozer blades are a very, very key part of tanks in Heresy.
And a melter cannon. A bloody melter blast gun. Which is heavy for Armor Bane.
Yep, the only one that isn't is the Volkite. But Armor Bane is really good in Heresy. So, that is all of that stuff. So, I think overall, with what they showed off, Warhammer Fest was a letdown.
It was a letdown on certain factions. I'm not going to lie.
I think the biggest thing was Heresy. But everyone knew Heresy was coming soon. Anyway, because of the leaks last year that were covered. But I think the biggest thing that came out of Heresy was the starter set. That they have confirmed that is staying around, I would like to point out.
So, I'm not gonna lie. The Heresy stuff, yes, I loved it.
Stole the show.
But it's all for show, for the whole point of plastic. And it's just meant to be there for... to make it a lot easier to obtain, making Horus Heresy easier to get into, so they have more of a floodgate to move on to Forge World, mainly because they want more people to start buying from their third-party company, Forge World or Black Library. Now, which is a fair point, because I think Warhammer rakes in more than Forge World and Black Library combined, if I remember correctly.
Forge World struggled to make $2,000 a month.
Exactly. Where the Age of Sigmar stuff, yes, I liked it because, again, I liked it because I'm a Sylvan F player. Some of it needed to be less clunky. Some of the 40k stuff needed to be less clunky. And it wasn't the best they've had. I'm more putting it down to one of the worst. But again, between the most shitty years of this year, well, the shittiest years, I see where they've gone. It's just they need to be better. What's being probably the more comical area of this.
But yeah, for me, the only big thing that really was actually decent was the Heresy starter set. The rest of it was just a letdown. There was
Heresy, and I'm not gonna lie, the Heretic Guardsman. That was probably good.
But anyway, we're gonna end that episode there. Obviously, if you stuck around for the whole Jesus bloody Nora, 2 hours, over 2 hours. Anyway, thank you for that. We'll put all the links to everything down below. We'll also put the rough estimations of prices down, but we'll also put down some places that you can get your product for cheaper if people want it, but we'll just put the one down unless people want to support the channel a bit more, where we'll put other links down to all the separate people. But on that note, we will see everyone on the next episode of Ohana Hobby Workshop, and the next podcast will be coming out 25th of May, where we will be having an exclusive podcast with Dave from Mini Wargaming to talk about the Ravager Star series. But just to wrap everything up here, from my point of view, it's a bit of a letdown. Only one good thing out of it. From Rod's point of view, we had the Guardsman and the Horror Heresy stuff.
I've got some more Sylvaneth to buy.
Oh, you just shove your trees where the sun don't shine. But anyway, on that note, we will see everyone on another episode, and hope everyone has a good day, good night, depending on when you're watching it, and let us know your thoughts down in the description. So enjoy your days, people.